Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you? You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look how they campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah!
When you put them on the job, if they're not doing the job, then you fire them. Because you're in control. From the city to the state to Congress to the president. You run this.
Hello, Jerry Williams again here at Talk Labor, and we're back talking about some of the things that are important to you and some of the things that people are afraid to talk about. I'm not. I'm going to always talk about things that we need to talk about. We're going to start out today talking about my last show where I was talking about the contract that the ATUs were doing and things like that. I got some feedback, got very good feedback. Got some that people were saying, well, why are you talking about our contract? Listen, let me tell you something. I'm going to talk about that subject for a minute or two, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that because we got a lot of other things we need to do, as you're going to see as we move forward here. But, folks, when people ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. And I don't fear people. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's up to you what you want to do with the truth now. When I tell you things, if I tell you A, B, C is A, B, and C, you can put your money on it. And if you don't put your money on it, I'm going to show you where you can go and find out that A, B, C is A, B, and C. In other words, I'm always tell you how you can find the facts for yourself. I'm not going to just tell you some things, and people should never do that. When we're talking about that contract, I have a lot of problems with it. And, you union leaders, don't play your people like that. If you don't know, go and ask somebody. Don't think that you know everything, because you don't. Go and ask somebody that's been there. Not just one person. Ask 4 or 5 of them. You can make up your own mind as to what you want to do, but don't try to trick your people by telling them that the arbitrator saying he's gonna hammer you if you don't do what CTA says. There's something wrong with that. So when that comes to me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you don't like that, sorry. I had one guy who on Facebook, somebody was telling me about it, sent me a copy of it, says, I like Mr. Williams and I've always liked him, but why is he talking about our contract? Because some of your brothers and sisters asked me to talk about it. You should be talking about your contract. That's yours. You should be looking at it. Now, let me explain to some people. If people ask me, innocent people come, if you got people walking off a cliff, a 999-foot cliff, if innocent people come and ask me, Jerry, should we walk off that cliff? If we do, will we die? I'm going to tell you, yes, you will die. Okay? So everything that I tell you, I can bag it up and show you. One day I'm going to show you what negotiations are. Not that I want to put anybody down, but don't be afraid to ask. When I was president, I talked to everybody. I talked to some of my enemies, people that didn't like me. But if I figured they know something about labor, I have no problem talking to them. I'm going to make up my own mind, but I'm going to talk to them. And that's where you need to be. Because if you don't do that, hey, man, shame on you. Shame on you. But we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about that. Like I said, one day I'm going to show you some of the things that I talked about. Put it down on paper, and I want you to just copy it and see what I'm talking about. Okay? All this he say, she said. We're going to show you what Jerry Williams did in there as president. Then you take it and check it yourself. You can always go and check it. Okay? I want to thank the coalition. We had a great meeting. And the Pensioners Coalition, we had a great meeting. Like I said, J.B. Pritzker's guy came by and we talked, and he wants to come by and meet with us again. He's very impressed with us, and it just had a great time. And next time we're going to have some very more important people there, and we bring people up to date as to what's going on. They know, they know what's going on. If you're a member of the coalition, you're going to know what's going on. You're going to be a part of what's going on. You're going to make the decisions. Okay? We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to get to that orange guy in the White House. Sometimes we just got to face facts. We put a clown in there. We put a guy in there that's really, the man doesn't have them all. He doesn't have them all. He lies. He lies so much to people as using it as normal now when he lies. He has taken the president, the office of the president, and just rubbed it all in the mud. He put it so low till an ant could step over the bar. That's where we are now, and you got to face that. And we don't just talk about it. You got to stay abreast as to what's going on. Same thing you do with your union and your pension. Speaking of that, the stock market fell 1,175 points. That's the largest one-day drop in the history of the stock market.
Not a good day for the Dow. The U.S. stock market went into a bit of a panic attack this week, sending the Dow spiraling down into its biggest point drop in history. On Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average went negative after dropping 1,175 points, or 4.6%. The sell-off began after the Department of Labor released its monthly report detailing the addition of 200,000 more jobs and a 2.9% increase in wages. The robust report likely worried investors into thinking inflation would rise quickly, stoking fears that the Federal Reserve would then keep it in check by raising interest rates up to 3%.
Now, do you understand what I said about the 401ks? A lot of people lost big money with the 401k. People that couldn't afford it lost their whole 401k. It's like playing poker. If they outbid your hand, you got to drop out. So when a person comes by and says to me, would you give up your defined pension plan for a 401k? Take a look at the stock market. Dropped 1,175 points. Largest one-day drop in history. Nobody knows why it happened. This is why you don't talk about, you don't play with, you don't deal with stuff like that. Now, some of you younger guys, you're not thinking about your retirement now. And I understand that, because when I was young, I didn't either. But the more I stayed with that company, the more I saw how important that retirement plan is. And you're going to find a lot of people right now that are 5 years away from retirement. Folks, if you don't pay attention, you won't have a pension. If you don't pay attention, you may not have a pension. And I'm not kidding you. So don't let people play you now. You stay smart. Stay smart, okay? Another thing I want to talk to you about. This boy is always talking about what he's done, the orange guy, what he's done and what President Obama didn't do.
The unemployment rate is at a almost 17-year low. The stock market is soaring to record levels. We just hit a new high on Friday, and I think we're hitting another new high today because there's tremendous optimism having to do with business in our country.
And I get sick of these media people allowing him to get away with those lies. I want you guys to look up John Horwood. He's one of the top economists in the country. And he showed just the other day that the increase in the Dow Jones Industrial Average from President's inaugural day to February 5th, from President Obama's inaugural day to February 5th, and the orange guy's inaugural day to February 5th. The orange guy, the market was at 22.7. President Obama, the market was at 38.5 at the same period of time. So when they go telling you, oh, he's doing a great job and he's doing this, and we all know he's lying anyway, but we don't want to get so comfortable and so normal that we allow them to get away with that. You know, we got to stay, we got to stand, we got to fight, and we got to do everything we can to keep these crazy people from destroying this country and us in the process. You can look for this guy to try to start a war with someone, somewhere, within the next year or so, because he knows he's going to be out of office, either impeached or voted out if he makes that whole term. But he's going to try to start a war. This is what they do to try to keep him in office. We're not going to let that happen. He started a war, we're still throwing you out. We still are going to kick you out of office. Okay? But now I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to talk about some other things that I think that you might enjoy talking about. Be right back. Okay, folks, I'm back. And did you watch the football game? Did you watch the football game? Oh, man, was that nice? I mean, I loved it. I was so happy the Eagles won. You know why? Because during the hype, during the build-up, now think about this. Just go back in your mind and think about this. How many times did they even mention the Philadelphia Eagles? Everything was about Tom Brady and the Patriots. I mean, they had them all on the TV. They had this boy, his hand, he had a glove. He's trying to be Michael Jackson because he's supposed to busted his hand. He was, I mean, I'm like, when are they going to talk about the Eagles, man? I mean, this was just an insult. And I'm saying, fellas, if y'all ever played football, please come and play some football this Sunday night. And they stepped up in that butt. I mean, they made him look like he was a rank amateur. A rank amateur. They kicked butt. Congratulations, Philadelphia. And congratulations, Alshon Jeffries, ex-Bear. Yep, I did say ex-Bear. We give away some good players, don't we? Let's hold our breath and hope we get a pretty good team next year. I kind of like the team. I hope the coach is good. I like the coach that they had, Fox. He built the team up and got it where he wanted to get him, and now they dumped him. But they did the same thing with Mark Jackson. He built the Golden State Warriors up and got him where he wanted, and they dumped him and took Steve Kerr. But I like Steve Kerr. You know what? I really do. I like Steve Kerr better than I do Jackson. Steve Kerr is more of a man than Jackson. Jackson was a wimp. He let him run over him. And a lot of people say, well, they gave it to the white boy. Well, they gave it to the best man. Whether it was black, white, or green. And Steve Kerr happened to be the better man. Much better man than Mark Jackson. Surprised me. Steve really surprised me. But now, let me get back to football. They talk about football and how the ratings were down and, all kinds of things, this year. And they're saying because of the political situation and because of the cries about concussions and injuries and stuff like that. Look, men, we played football all our life. We don't need nobody telling us whether we can play and how we can play and how hard we can hit. Next thing they'll have us doing is playing tag football or flag football. No. This is a football game. We want to keep it like that. Okay? Now, another problem I got with that. They're talking about how rough football is and how dangerous. You know the problem I got with that? Hockey is 10 times more dangerous than football. These guys get their heads knocked off. All of them walk around with teeth. I ain't got no teeth. They don't have teeth because they've been knocked out. They beat and let them fight each other until they get tired. If a basketball player starts a fight, he's injected and suspended for 10 games. Just ask Bobby Portis, and he was in practice. If a football player hits somebody illegally, he's suspended. These guys don't get suspended. They can break the dude's neck. They don't care. Why am I saying that? Well, these young players that we have playing football are making a tremendous amount of money. Somebody don't like that. Some people don't like that. You might think I'm kidding, but they don't. The viewership on football is way past that on hockey and even baseball. That's what action is. Football and basketball. So I'm just saying, if you're talking about injuries and stuff like that, hockey, they shouldn't even be playing that game, that sport. But they are always talking about concussions in football. And I went and saw little kids practicing hockey. Man, I mean little bitty dudes, and they be hitting, and they be cracking it, man. So I don't want to hear that anymore. So let's stop that. Don't let them influence you on whether you watch football or not. Because football is the best damn sport out there. Football is the best sport out there. And we want to keep on watching football, okay? Don't let them change you like that. Don't let them change you like that. We got a lot of things we're going to talk about. And I'm going to give you a little bit about what I want to get back to, kind of, and I talked about that earlier. I want to get a little bit back to where we were in the beginning of the show and my show last week. And I want people to know that, looking at your contract, ATU, I don't have time to spend on, looking and working on your contract, but I do this for people that I know, and I'll continue to do that. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do day to day so you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about the gifts and the knowledge and the things that I do for kids. That's what is important to me. I'm going to take a break again, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on in the real world. Okay? Be right back.
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm back, and as I promised you, we're going to talk about a little bit about some of the things that I do. One of the big ones, is what I do with kids. For the last 5 years, I am the regional director of the Infinite Scholar Program. You've seen it, you've heard about it. If you don't know anything about it, go into infinitescholar.org and you'll see. We started this in Chicago about 5 years ago. We're not the originals. We worked with Infinite Scholar. Infinite Scholar started in 2001 in St. Louis under Mr. Thomas Osley. We began Infinite Scholars here in 5 years ago. We have not given under 10 million scholarship offers, not 1 year since we've been in existence. I'm proud to say I am the regional director. I have been moved up to the co-chairman of Infinite Scholars nationally, all over the United States. We have cities all over the United States that we work with. We make sure that these kids get opportunities to further their education, because I know that education is key. Don't let nobody fool you. Education is key to get you where you want to get in this world. I know that our kids don't get the opportunity that a lot of kids have. We're not limited to minorities, but we do kind of cater that way. And we get great letters of thank you from kids, from the parents and stuff like that. That's what my gratification is. Understand what I'm saying? We haven't given out less than $10 million over the last 5 years in scholarship offers. We work with top colleges all around the country. This is what I do. This is where I spend my time. Also, I spend my time with Shy Sound Records, because that is my label. I have great artists. We do great things. So when I tell you I don't have time to sit around and play the little games that you guys are playing, I've been there, done that. I don't have time for that, but I don't want to see you hurt. Shy Sound Records. I want you guys to come down to Park West on the 15th of February. We're having a great event there. And what we're doing, we're having this event. All the proceeds are going to go to young kids, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that are members of the Symphony of Change, SOC. These kids are taught to learn instruments, read, write music. They're under the tutelage of T.L. Williams, who, this is his project. These are some of the things that we do. I'm going to let you see some of the things that I'm talking about, and make up your mind about what you want to do, okay? In other words, stop whining and moaning. Get out there, be an adult, read. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't let people stand on the sideline in your ear telling you a bunch of garbage. Read for yourself, okay? Read for yourself. Not just with the ATUs, but when it comes to voting, when it comes to things that you need to do in the community, step up, because it's yours. Now, just one other thing. This guy, Biss, who's running for governor, I just found out through the ads that this guy was the guy that actually wrote the bill that took away our pension, and along with the unions, and and when we went to court, and and the court overturned that bill they wrote, he said, "Oh," and you go to YouTube, you can see it yourself now. He said, "Oh, listen, I apologize. I was wrong for doing that, and I'm glad the court overturned it, because I was wrong." Wait a minute, Biss. If the court hadn't have overturned it, you would have jammed us, retirees. We would have been broke. We would have had to give up our house. You didn't give a damn. But now you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that." But you want to be governor? You want to be governor? There's some other things that this guy's done that really is appalling. You know, for a person, he was in charge. He out front with trying to take money from public schools to give to charter schools. But he says I was wrong. No, I can't buy that. I can't buy that. To me, you got two people out there that I look at as people that will step up and have stepped up before to run for governor, and that is J.B. Pritzker and Kennedy, Chris Kennedy. You all do what you want to. Check your own stuff out, but I'm just letting you know that these guys did what they did. If you don't believe me now, check it out yourself. This guy Biss he was the guy that actually wrote the damn bill. And then said, well, you know, when the judge overturned it, when the Supreme Court overturned it, he said, well, I'm sorry. I mean, you know, damn, it was just like that for you. That's what you have to do. He reminds me of this guy. Well, I don't want to get into that. But anyway, want you to stay up. Want you to stay up. Now, I want you to stay on top of everything that, you know, involves you, your family. We got situations with the police department. We got to work those out. I got to say, Johnson is getting. He actually is showing a lot more concern than the other commanders here in Chicago. But there's still a long, 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 long way to go. I want to say to you, young people, you millennials, don't get to the point where you think you know it all. You know, ask people. If you don't know your history, you don't know where the hell you're going. So sit down and ask people. I don't think that people are gonna want to get in your way. I think they will give you advice and let you do what you're gonna do. I'm very proud of you guys because you are stepping up and you're showing that you're not afraid. Just one thing to you guys, especially you guys, pull your damn pants up. Unless you can explain to me why you have your pants hanging up under your ass, pull it up, please. If you can explain it to me and if it makes sense, I'm like, yeah, you should do that. I'm not going to pull mine down. But yeah, you should do that. But pull your damn pants up. You know, pretend like you got some intelligence if you don't. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You've been watching Talk Labor. I want you to take a look at the little clip at the end here, as we always do. But you've been watching Talk Labor, and you know what to do if you want to contact me. talklabor@gmail.com. And we do answer you. We do answer your questions and your concerns. So we'll see you next week. talklabor@gmail.com. See you.
The song I'm going to play now, you call it basketball. That's because the tuning is in. They're very old.
yeah.